On this week's episode, there's a rumour that one of our favourite cycling instructors may well be going over to the tread.
And we'll discuss possible openings and timings of our studios, as well as our Pelo chat with amputee vet Paul Findlay.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, your unofficial resource for everything Peloton. By the community, for the community. Here are your hosts, Mark O'Rourke in the UK and Amanda Siegel in the US.
Welcome to episode 3 of Pelo Buddy TV. And it's been another busy week in the world of Peloton. And I'm excited to be joined again by my regular co-host, Amanda Siegel. Amanda.
Hi, Mark. And wow, what a week it has been. Certainly for myself, I've been quite busy on the bike and hit another milestone this week, made it to 750 rides. And of course, did it with my absolute fave, Leanne Hainsby. And you know what? Mark, this community is just incredible. And to be able to jump on that bike and constantly be pushed and encouraged and high-fived by, those folks we just don't know. We know, but we don't know. Isn't it incredible?
It is, absolutely. I love it. I love every week. I look forward to every ride. And I look forward to this show as well, of course, Amanda.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it does is it just kind of brings the week together. It gives us an opportunity to be able to share with what's going on in the Peloton world. And with that, Mark, I guess let's know what's in the news this week.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
So, Mark, rumor or reality? Is there a chance that the Peloton Tread team have a new instructor? A picture surfaced of Jess King running on the tread. Do you think she's about to become an instructor for tread or boot camp? We can never be sure with Peloton. The company definitely likes to experiment with lots of things. And I think that this could be nothing. But it certainly has piqued our curiosity for some of us that, that love riding with Jess. So what do you think?
Yeah, could well be. And you know what? There's another rumour that's going about. The new London studio may be about to open. We've had some Peloton insider information given to us, informing us that the new London Covent Garden studio is going to open maybe at the end of September. Right now, it sounds like it's going to be just a production of live classes with only the instructor being present. But you know what? Who knows?
Yeah, so that's interesting. It would certainly be exciting. And the old studio was just so small. So I know that they were excited to get it up and running. But, it's interesting because I think with what's going on right now with gyms opening up, I believe in the UK, your gyms are already opened. Here in the US, it's starting. I mean, they're definitely starting to open up gyms. What's been interesting, though, this week, there was some chatter with Governor Cuomo announcing that he's allowing gyms to be opened literally this beginning of this week. But interestingly enough, the mayor has said that he would like to push it a little bit further. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the Peloton studio. Mark, everyone was so excited because the studio was about to open at the beginning of March, or middle of March. And of course, right when COVID hit, I know that I did one of the last classes in the 23rd Street studio that first week in March. So it was interesting that, the world came to an end as we all know it back in March. But they have this gorgeous, beautiful studio in Manhattan that they can't wait to get folks into. But will the fact that the gyms are now opening allow Peloton to maybe start bringing folks in, for that?
Absolutely. Well, over in the UK, gyms are open. So maybe with the new studio opening in London, maybe members will be allowed to be present, maybe in smaller numbers, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think we're all just going to have to kind of wait and see what happens, and hold our breath. I know we're all excited to get back into the studio, but of course, being safe is of utmost importance.
It is, and on that front, we heard about the extended warranty that Peloton announced. That the extended warranty was going to be offered for the whole of mainland UK. The price is set at 145 for 12 months, or 185 for 27 months. By comparison, it costs between 95 and 145 to have an appointment. So up till now, Peloton have been repairing, exchanging bikes with issues. They've been brilliant. But at the end of this year, the UK leaves the EU, and we've had at the standard 2 years EU guarantee up until now.
That is interesting. I know that here in the US, they certainly have continued to, offer the extended warranty. So we've been fortunate to have had that here. I mean, it'll be helpful because I know that there have been some issues, certainly with the bikes recently. But more interesting, I think what's been going on with the bikes is the software. And just for some software updates, Mark, this week we've seen a little bit of activity about experimenting with adding difficulty levels. Interestingly enough, it was an on-off switch that I think Peloton had decided to use. With the strength classes and the meditation, there is, or yoga at least, there have been difficulty levels reported, in the on-demand classes that folks can see, whether it be a beginner or an intermediate or even an advanced. That popped up for our cycling classes. And honestly, I think it was up for a minute and then down. We all saw it, and it certainly piqued all of our interest. And truthfully, I think it would be really beneficial. I hope that they do bring it back. I know that they like to experiment, but I do hope that they bring it back. For someone like myself who's been, active in having members join and certainly have had a slew of friends and acquaintances buy bikes, one of the first questions they ask me is, Amanda, where do I start? How do I know which classes to take? So I think that would be really helpful. I'm happy to share that information, and I know certainly on, the Facebook pages they do too. But I think it would be helpful if,
Sure.
if we had that on there. So I'm not quite sure why they removed it, and let's just hope that they bring it back.
Yeah, who knows? I think that definitely the community would like it to come back from some of the comments I was reading regarding this story. But you know what? It's over to Peloton, isn't it? We're in their hands, and I guess if they feel it's necessary, we'll see it. Let's hope so.
We are. And part of that too has been the glitches with the high fives. I know folks have been quite frustrated with that too, where they have, jumped on bikes and tried to high five, and the screens don't allow it. So that tends to be a little frustrating. So look, I think with 2-point-something million, that we have on there now, there've got to be glitches along the way. I know I've been frustrated a little bit on my bike when I've jumped on and the metrics haven't been working, and I've had to shut the bike down and restart. Do you find that ever happens with you?
Yeah, I was talking to the guys about this in the puck community this week, and they were saying to me exactly that. I think for myself, I tend to turn the screen off when I finish a ride, and then I switch it back on when I go on, and I think it clears the cache. So in fact, on the PelotonBuddy.com website, there is an article about how to do it, some tips. So it's well worth referring to that, Amanda.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. I never even thought of that. So that's a great point to bring up. So certainly for you folks that are having, trouble with your bikes, troubleshooting through the PeloBuddy.com website would be very helpful. I'm definitely going to look that up.
Yeah.
So Mark, our instructors have certainly continued to be in the news. And let's shift over to chat a little bit about who's doing what, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been full of it. This week has been full of the news with instructors. And I know that you've got something to tell us about regarding Emma.
I do. So Emma Lovewell this week signed with UTA. It's a talent agency, and she will the agency will rep her in all areas, including digital content, endorsements, publishing, and podcasts. Mark, I'm really excited for Emma. She's absolutely gorgeous. She has such a warm, beautiful personality. And I'm excited to see her, out there a little bit more in the public eye. I think it's going to be wonderful to see what this agency are going to do with her.
Yeah, maybe. Does that mean that she's leaving Peloton? I don't know.
Oh, I hope not, Mark. I really hope not. I think it's just an opportunity for her to be repped a little bit more and get her out there a little bit more.
I hope you're right, Amanda. And on that front, there was Ben Alldis made quite a big announcement this week that there was going to be a Ministry of Sound series created in collaboration with the Ministry of Sound label, and it kicks off on Monday, the 24th of August at 2 p.m. in the UK, 9 a.m. on Eastern Time. It's going to be really interesting.
I like that, Mark. Yeah, no, you know what? I think that's fun because for so many of us that have put travel on hold, and certainly I know for you Brits going to to Ibiza and having fun in the summer is something that I know a lot of the instructors have spoken about that. I know Leanne and Ben love going there, so it'll be fun to see Ben doing something a little bit out of character, And
Amanda, remember he was a DJ. Remember he was a DJ. So
interesting. Well, we're going to talk about Ben. We're going to talk about Ben in a little bit, but that is interesting. I did not know that he was a DJ. So that I've just learned something new.
He's going to be in his element, Ben. I'm sure of it.
Oh, fantastic! It is going to be a fun ride. I hope that lots of folks jump on that ride.
And on that,
tell us what else.
I know Ben did an article in Forbes that you could inform us about.
I do. So we all saw that being released this week. I find that to be absolutely fantastic. Here was somebody that had a career in finance. I mean, probably making, a nice income, but his love was definitely that of fitness. He had always been a trainer. He had worked as a trainer, and he really couldn't seem to manage juggling both. And I think his love for fitness outweighed his career as a financier and whatever he was doing from that perspective. And jumped on got offered, a job by Peloton, as we all know, and jumped on the Peloton bandwagon. And he has truly made a huge impact in the community. I think it's fantastic that Forbes took the time to feature him and give him that opportunity to share his story, because you know what? Life is too short. And this is, I'm realizing this more and more as we're living in this crazy pandemic world right now. Do what you love. Don't be stuck in something just because it makes sense. Do what you love. And if you're passionate about something, why not do that? So that's my feeling on that, Mark.
Ben's certainly passionate about Peloton. You can just see his passion. You can just see how he loves the brand. He loves doing what he's doing, and he's so popular, not just in the UK. I know he's popular in Germany, in Canada, in the USA, and that was a great article. And if you haven't read it, it's definitely worth reading. Also, another UK instructor was in the news this week. Hannah Frankson did an interview with Harris Cooper's digital magazine. And they described Hannah as a role model for women's physical and wellness, which is great, isn't it? Hannah said that her friends would describe her as a bit like an adult version of a toddler, which I had to laugh about, because when she's on her rides, she's such a bubbly character, Amanda. She's great. I don't know if you've done many rides with her.
I do. It's interesting because, as I've mentioned many times, I've been very fortunate enough to have written in the studio in London and in the US. And I really do feel privileged to have had that opportunity. In London, I had the opportunity of writing with Ben, Leanne, and Sam, and I had never ridden with Hannah live. And at first, I just wasn't sure about her.
Sure.
Through COVID and her, being out there a little bit more and having more time to ride, I have taken her classes, and I have to tell you, she's a scream. She is so funny on the bike. for those folks, I encourage you to try different instructors. I think we get caught up in instructors that, we kind of stick to, and that, becomes what we do on a regular basis. But honestly, what I have found, and I think that Peloton, again, I'll go back to saying that, I think that Peloton allowed us to do that, to try different instructors and different, medias, which was amazing. But definitely go out of your box and try different instructors, because you'll be amazed. Ones that you would think you would never have wanted to have ridden with, you suddenly, enjoy riding with. So I do love that. Yeah.
Another article that we came across in the week was from Common, the hip hop star and now actor, of course, who started his own health and wellness YouTube channel. It's called Come and Well, which includes a live ride on his Peloton bike. Also, Anna Frankson, we've just talked about her, but she was in the news again, and it was quite interesting reading that she started working with a company called Vitality, a private health insurance company, and is doing her own full body strength series. You can sign up for a 120-day trial and have access to her classes. That's interesting. Amanda?
Yeah, no, that is interesting. Well, I'm telling you, the instructors have certainly been in the news a lot this week. On a lighter note, there was an article that was put out about what the instructors are wearing and how they prepare themselves for their workouts. Pop Sugar, which is a website that folks can go on, had an opportunity to interview some of the instructors. And they were told that the instructors are basically given carte blanche. As long as they have one branded Peloton item on in a workout, they can do whatever they want. And in fact, they are encouraged to show their personalities and to, to dress to what they enjoy in their own way. So yeah, I mean, I think that's been an interesting aspect of what they wear, because it certainly makes us, from a female perspective, want to go out and jump on and buy what they're wearing. And I know that I get a chuckle when I jump on my rides and I'm twinning with the instructors. And I've been fortunate enough. I share many times how I've referred so many folks, and we get our referral codes. And, for those of you that don't know that, and that own, have your bikes, you have a referral code. There is a $100 or £100 per bike or per tread that you refer. And it can be used for apparel where you can jump on. Now, the catch to that, Mark, is that the stuff goes so quickly that you tend to jump online, and it's certainly for us women, and it's gone. I mean, I don't know how people know when it's going to be dropped so quickly, but it does go. So, but with that being said, it's fun to be able to dress, and I'm constantly wearing my Peloton gear, and I rep it. My husband will often say to me,
aren't we all,
you don't work for them. Aren't you all? Exactly.
We're walking advertisements for Peloton. There was some news about Ross Rayburn, Amanda?
Yes. So that actually is where I was going to next. So Ross Rayburn, who we don't tend to see much on social media, did an Instagram live this past week with Billy Porter. And while I never got a chance to see it, I did hear that they chatted about all things yoga, meditation, and healing. So it's nice to have seen Ross on Instagram Live, and I know you can go back and get to watch it. And having Billy Porter on was so fun.
Absolutely. And talking about challenges and new challenges, I think there's an announcement that you want to talk about as well, Amanda, regarding outdoor runs and treadmill and so on.
I do, Mark. So the most fun this week was a new challenge that Peloton launched, which is the Run Challenge. We all love to earn our badges, don't we? And what Peloton did this week is gave folks an opportunity within the next 2 weeks for you to try out a run, whether it be on the tread or even outdoors. And as long as you do 4 runs in the next 2 weeks, you are able to earn a badge. So we certainly have an opportunity to add to our collection. And whilst I'm not a runner, unfortunately, I do like to try different things. So I certainly will give it a try this week, because I know that I got to have my badge on there.
And I think you've got to sign on online. Is that right, Amanda?
Yes, yes. So you join the challenge up online, as you would do, with the other challenges. And, as long as you clock in 4 runs, whether it be on the treadmill or on the, or outdoors, you get to earn your badge. And then to add to that, Mark, once you've done your running, because we keep ourselves busy in all different sorts, Aditi Shah has added a full meditation series to her meditation regime. And that was something that she announced this past week, giving folks an opportunity to take a look at that. So that's going to be up there for folks to do as well.
Yeah, that's something I don't do, Amanda, to be honest with you. I think a lot of the members talk about the meditation classes, and I keep meaning to do them and never get round to it. I don't do the running because we obviously haven't got the tread in the UK, but I should maybe run a little bit more outside. So yeah, you're actually pricking my memory here. So I'm going to maybe try the meditation classes and also do a bit of running in the next week or two.
So Mark, what about strength training? You mentioned about meditation and running that you haven't tried that, but have you tried any of the strength training classes? Interestingly enough, I found a teaser on Andy Spear's Instagram that the strength trainers are adding a new strength warm-up routine. And I think that that's really important. We tend to, do warm-up rides, do warm-up runs, but we just jump right into our strength training. And some folks don't have time to do a run and then do a strength training class. So I think that it will be really welcomed to have an opportunity to be able to do a warm up before you do your strength training.
Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. And no, I haven't done the strength training, and I do plan on doing it. So anyway, that's the end of the news.
Let's get to know another person behind the leaderboard name in Pelo Chats.
I'm really excited about our guest on Pelo Chat, and I'm certain that everyone connected to our favourite bike and tread is going to be enthralled by Paul Findlay's amazing story. Hi, Paul. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, your family, your job. Over to you, mate.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me. So I'm obviously not from Essex, but that's where I reside now. I'm from Glasgow originally, and I work for a military charity that supports wounded veterans and helps them become independent as possible. And I live, like I said, I live in Essex with my wife and 2 young children. So that's probably a brief introduction about myself.
So the incident that happened in Afghanistan, Paul, tell us about it and tell us what happened.
Yeah, so Mark, so I was deployed to Afghanistan in 2009, which was my 4th operational tour, and I was part of a specialist reconnaissance unit, and our job was to go in behind enemy lines and establish a forward operating base and try and make the area as secure as possible. It was a really treacherous part of Helmand province where there hadn't been much coalition forces before, and unfortunately the vehicle I was in, which was a Jackal patrol vehicle, was struck by an IED, an improvised explosive device, which resulted in myself and a number of other of my colleagues getting seriously wounded, and those that actually came to rescue us were also blown up and wounded as well. I had a number of injuries from broken pelvis, broken back, broken ribs to a number of nerve injuries, and unfortunately 10 months on, after a number of surgeries that didn't go quite well, I had no option but to elect to have my leg amputated. So I'm now a below right knee amputee, which actually amongst the amputee community is known as the paper cut of amputations, because it's seen as the one that doesn't really have any impact in your life. But yeah, I mean, to those that aren't amputees, I'm sure they don't see it like that. But
that's a bit of an understatement. If I've ever heard.
When you work with amputees who are missing, above limbs or more than one limb, trust me, you get used to the abuse that you get. But yeah, so that was the day. The 22nd of May 2009 was the day that definitely changed my life. But if I'm honest, for the better, because I wouldn't be
for sure
where I am now, and I wouldn't have met the people that I've met along the way, which have all been positive.
You bought the bike in November 2019, and soon after, you and your family were involved in a car accident, and you ended up wanting to sell the bike. So tell us the story about that.
Yeah, so we bought the bike. I was, the job that I was doing, I was on the road a lot, and when I was at home, there was no gyms in a very close proximity. So I seen the Peloton advert, and I said to my wife, I think this would be a good investment. Cancel a gym membership, get the bike. And she was all for it, so we got the pedal delivered quite quickly, and I've done a few rides. It was really good, and then we were out one Saturday, and somebody on their phone driving smashed into the back of us when we were on a roundabout, and I'd done quite a bit of damage to my back and my ribs. My wife got some serious injuries, and the two kids got a bit of concussion and some neck injuries. And then that was that. I wasn't really able to cycle comfortably. I wasn't able to golf. I wasn't able to do any of the things that I would normally do. And if I'm honest, it just became an expensive clothes rack, which is not what the plan was to start with.
Sure.
And then it was March this year that I thought, you know what, I could probably get some of my money back for this. Let's just sell it and be done with it. And if I'm honest, I wasn't in any of the Peloton groups, so sure. I hadn't done any tribe rides before. I hadn't really cycled with anybody. I'd just done my own thing. I think I had like one follower, which was my wife, and that was it. And then lockdown happened, gyms closed, the rest is history. And I thought, you know what, let's give it another go. And I joined a few of the groups, and before I knew it, I was just hooked. So from having done about 8 rides or 9 rides, come in March, I've just done 250. So it's been a bit of a bug, to be honest, since then.
Absolutely.
And I know I'm not the only one. There's riders all over the world that have just got this absolute bug. So yeah.
And you were telling me earlier, and it's a really interesting story. The prosthetic amendment or alteration you had. But maybe tell us a little bit about that, and show us if you've got it there.
Yeah, I've got it here. So I have never really been a cyclist, and I took on a cycling challenge a few years ago for charity, and I really struggled because I couldn't get out the saddle. So as soon as we were outdoors and we'd hit a hill, I was in really low gear and spinning as fast as I could, but I couldn't get out the saddle to really project the power that I needed. And when I got the Peloton, the same applied, although I didn't realise how the classes worked and instructors and stuff. So I was always just sitting down, and when all these people were getting up out the saddle and generating a huge amount of output, I couldn't match it, and I was starting to become disillusioned. So I spoke to my prosthetist, who is a cyclist, and I said, "Look, mate, you've got to make me something that I can get out the saddle that's not going to put too much pressure on the bottom of my stump and allow me to at least compete with some of these guys and girls." So he made this for me, and it doesn't look that, and I apologise for the imagery. My daughter's picked it out of the catalogue, so it's lots of little cartoon animals, which if I was walking around on my own, I'd probably get some funny looks, but thankfully this doesn't leave the house. And the main designs where it was a fixed pole with no flex and a shorter foot, so actually I could generate enough power through it, and the shoe doesn't come off. But the main difference was the back, how much it was cut away, and then it's got some extra padding inside there, which allows me to it doesn't pinch the back of my leg. Which is a common cause for those that cycle or try to cycle, and it's been an absolute game changer. And actually, I'm in the process of going into hospital soon to get another one made, because it's just I've lost quite a bit of weight, and this one just doesn't fit as comfortably as it once did. So hopefully I'll have a bit of a better design in terms of the cast and how it looks. But yeah, it's that to me has been a massive game changer, allowing me to do the rides that I can do any ride now. I'm not impacted by by my mobility. So,
and I know you said to me that you'd lost 4 stone in weight. So, I mean, again, the story just gets better and better, doesn't it?
Yeah, I used to be a really super fit guy. I've run a couple of marathons. I've done a lot of extreme physical and sporting, activities and tough mudders and nuclear races and all this stuff. And then after I lost my leg, I've just really struggled with my weight, struggled with my mental health, my physical health. And, like a lot of people, you I still eat the same as what I used to. I'm just not running 15 miles a day or rowing or whatever I used to do. And since I've got back into the Peloton, I've been a lot more conscious about my diet. I'm not dieting,
Sure.
I'm just being mindful of
Yeah.
what I eat.
Yeah.
But doing between an hour and 2 hours of fitness every day, the weight's just dropped off, and to lose 4 stone since my goal was actually 4 stone before Christmas. So when I hit the 4 stone mark, I was just elated, and actually I've got no clothes that fit me, so I had to go buy some new clothes, and belt loop, put holes in belt loops and stuff. So yeah, I mean, that wasn't, for me, the weight loss has actually been a bonus. It's the way I feel that, I feel much better in myself.
Well, not just that, Paul. I mean, listen, in the PUT community, and I know in the other communities on Facebook, we came across your fundraiser, and I know that around about 3 weeks ago, you decided to do a fundraiser, and I guess, which is typical of you. I don't know you that well, but I guess it's typical. It was going to be no ordinary fundraiser. And I think you said it's one of the most difficult things you've ever done. And you rode the bike for 40 hours, 2 hours off, 2 hours on, and you raised £4,500 for 2 charities. So again, tell us a little bit about that, because I know it's a great story.
Yes. So firstly, it was the worst thing I've ever done. Bar none. It was, I sat in the pub with a friend and decided I wanted to do something that so there's 2 charities I'm raising money for, were the NHS Charities Together, which a lot of people will now know because of what Captain Tom did.
Yeah.
And the other one is a charity I work for, Blesma, and I see day to day the impact they make on people's lives, and I wanted to give a little something back. So I set a target of £500 because I understand that we're in a climate where people are losing jobs, people are furloughed, there's uncertainty. So I wasn't trying to tap people up and get blood out of a stone. And I said, people will only donate to something that they would look at and either think he's crazy, or they would look at and think, I wouldn't do that myself. And when I first thought about it, my friend said, no, just do 24 hours. And I said, no, 24 hours is easy. That was the first mistake. So I said, I'm going to do 48 hours, 2 hours on, 2 hours off, and do that for 40 hours straight. And I didn't anticipate the mental challenge, the emotion, the physical exertion, the lack of sleep. I mean, I got just under 4 hours sleep throughout the whole 48 hours. I think I hit 372 miles in total. I burnt 24,500 calories, and I was only able to take in about 5,000. So there was a number of challenges, but what got me through it was the Peloton community. And I had people riding with me. Every 2 hours I was on, I had somebody on a ride with me. And one of the best moments was when I started the midnight shift, the graveyard shift, and I must have had about 28 of people, UK, US, all joining in one of my rides, and there was high fives galore. And the fact people are giving up a Saturday night to come at midnight, which just shows the strength of the community that we have here. And if I'm honest, that's what got me through. And you mentioned the sum, £4,500, which blew me away. And a large portion of that came from people within the Peloton community, from all over, from the US, Australia, UK, whatever it may be. I was getting donations, and it was those little things that just kept giving me the drive to power through.
But I know you're not in a rush to do that again, are you? That's for sure.
Never again. Never again. I'll carry on doing my Power Zone training and my various workouts, but I'm not doing, and I wouldn't advocate. I know a group of people are doing the volcano this weekend coming, but good luck to them. But I'm just going to stick to the normal, enjoyable rides, because that wasn't fun at all.
So we're now coming to the end of the interview, and it's time for descent and recovery. 60 seconds of fast-paced questions. Paul, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. First question is, who is your favourite instructor?
Jess King.
High cadence or high resistance?
High resistance.
What Facebook community do you spend most of your time in?
Puck.
Who would you count as your most inspiring Pelo friend?
Hendy, CFC, George Henderson.
Brilliant. Love George. Early bird rider or night owl rider?
Night owl.
Okay, same as me. Do you prefer live or on-demand classes?
Live when possible.
Okay. And are you a pre-ride or post-ride warm-down rider?
I'm neither. I'm probably the worst thing to do, to be honest. I don't stretch often enough or do cool downs.
It's important, Paul. It's important.
I know.
So we're coming to the end. That's it. We're coming down to the countdown. Thanks, Paul. That was brilliant. Good answer.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So again, thanks for coming on. And before we go, we always ask our guests their leaderboard name. So, Paul, what's your leaderboard name?
I'm Amputee Vet UK.
Great. Brilliant. And you do realise you're going to get lots of high fives now. People start to recognise your name on the bike, which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Paul, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you.
It's time to celebrate our fans' milestones with Pelo Shouts.
Daisy Maisie 1 looking good today. Happy 100.
Cinco! Come on, come on, come on!
Text it yes or yes. Happy 1,800 rides to you today.
Big Dad, soft spot, nice work. Happy 400 today.
Seglo 3, you absolute beauty. Happy 750 rides to you today.
Cardi Fred 29, happy 350 today.
Marnie Moose 400 today. Fuzzy Paws 350.
Wasabi Ed 550. Wicklow 450.
Did you hit a milestone this week and get a shout out by your favorite instructor? Don't forget to let us know.
So, Mark, that was a pretty jam-packed show. Lots of news, lots of activity with our instructors, and certainly lots to keep us busy for the next week, right?
It's been one busy episode, and I've really enjoyed it, Amanda. I don't know about you.
I have too. I love sharing everything Peloton as you do, and love the community to be able to be a part of all of this. So I really appreciate all for taking a listen, whether you jumped on a podcast, whether you got to see us, our beautiful mugs in the TV episode. But I thank you for joining us and look forward to sharing more news next week.
We'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your unofficial resource for everything Peloton. By the community, for the community. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.